20 million to building expo related activities, and the other 13 million to dream realize activities.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Nima Flo Best.
The program performance statement for housing development. I note number 7, number of recreational facilities upgraded. 2 was listed in 2023, and 2 is now listed for 2024. Can the Honorable Minister say if the 2 for last year was completed and what it did, and the 2 expected to be completed in 2024?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, the activities here under this will include for interagency coordinating committee for planning and development. And this has relation in terms of focusing on discussing in terms of land use planning, etc. And then you have the interagency coordinating, an MOU have been signed with Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development, Ministry of Health, and various NDCs in terms of for the management and enhancement of their communities. We also have ongoing collaboration between Ministry of Housing and Water, GAISUCO, NISIL, and Guyana Lands and Survey Commission. This in terms of us seeking to acquire land, to continue to engage in terms of acquisition of lands. We have also the MOU signed by the Ministry of Housing and Water and GWI with the Ministry of Ambient Affairs in terms of continuous training for community support officers from various Amerindian communities, which helps in terms of maintenance of the systems, what systems. We also have training for part-time workers as part of this initiative in terms of for maintenance of the systems. And so, yeah, the answer to that, those are what this is intended, and the answer to whether the previous policies are achieved, yes.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Best.
I'm not sure if I got the answer, because I'm looking at what is written. It says number of recreational facilities upgraded, and I see the number 2. So I'm asking, which are the 2 facilities expected to be upgraded in 2024, and if those in 2023 were completed?
So thank you, Mr. Chairman. In 2023, you would have had Parfait Harmony and Sophia. For the other 2 that we're referring to for now would be Enmore and Annabelle.
Honorable Member, Ms. Nima Flo Best.
Can the Honorable Minister say if these recreational facilities caters for washroom facilities at these locations?
Honorable Minister. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Member, Ms. Best.
Number 9, number of new housing areas with water distribution network installed. I see they had none for 2023, but now we have 5. What will be the 5 areas?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have for Metamizark, Stourbville, Lenora, the Endrac, Hope, Success, Enterprise, Nonpareil, Two Friends, Luzignan, Ray Diamond, Golden Grove, Good Hope, Prospect, Palmyra, that is track AA, Borma, Baltiak, Shieldstone, number 75 Village, Bartica, Amelia's Ward, Silica City. While the target says 5, these areas that we intend, this is additional we intend to do, so it's more than 5 for us.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Best.
Thank you for the clarity. Number 14, number of housing areas regularized, which are the 5 new areas to be regularized this year.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, the areas that we plan to regularize in this year actually will be a little more than 5. Well, let me just call out what I have here. We have John's, Port Moran, Virgin Ocean Railway, and then you have Virgin Ocean South, Block E, Christianburg, Blueberry Hill, Wismar. So let me provide some additional information for the House. In fact, Mr. Chairman, a minimum of 479 lots are intended to be regularized on this year. These also include Philadelphia Railway, Barnwell Railway, the Willem, the Endrac Railway, Vigilance Bladen Hall, Strathspey Railway, Better for Walking Railway, and Mocha Arcade.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honorable Member Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, to the honorable member, line item 6302, training and scholarship, including scholarship. I know that for 2023, the ministry had an approved sum of 710 million. And 484 million was actually expended. And I note for 2024, you're now seeking 700 million. Can you say to this committee of supply whether the provisions being sought for 2024 is adequate as against what was actually budgeted in 2023? Secondly, who are the beneficiaries that will benefit from this allocation at the Central Housing and Planning Authority? And thirdly, what area or areas of training these beneficiaries will be exposed to? Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Customer service, supervisory management, the beneficiaries will include from the 2 ministers' secretariat and the permanent secretary secretariat. And yes, the fact that we're asking for 700,000 will tell you that yes, we feel it.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I now move the committee to line item 6321, subsidies to local organizations. I note we have a whopping 86 million for 2024, 86 million increase from 2024 as against 2023. One, can the Honorable Minister explain the reason for this $86 million?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, I'm looking for the whopping increase. That's why I didn't respond. Can you just identify me the increase? I'm looking for
Whopping could be relative, you know.
86 million, Miss
Okay, okay.
Honorable
All
Member.
right, let's go.
Is this going to be a whopping answer?
Mr. Chairman, the, this is a contribution to Central Housing and Planning Authority, as the honorable member knows, and it comprises of wages and salary. I'll give the main categories, and I can give much more breakdown too, as you asked. Total material, equipment and supplies, fuel and lubricants, rental and maintenance of buildings, transport, travel and postage, utility charges, other goods and services purchased, other operating expenses, and education, subvention, and trading. That's the breakdown for the 1.4 billion.
Thank you very much.
And the slight increase would recognize the increases in the wages.
Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, to the Honorable Member, you said portion of this money will go towards wages and salaries and other benefits. Can you provide to this Committee of Supply the 3 highest paid positions at CH and PA and their salaries and benefits? Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister.
Chief Executive Officer, Director of Operations, and the Director of Projects. Those are the 3 highs.
Honorable,
Mr. Chair, may I recall the Honorable Member memory to the second part of my question?
Okay.
Can you provide the emoluments? Since you've given the designation, please provide the salaries and their benefits. Thank you.
Honorable
The-
Minister.
Director of Operations receive the salary of 858,000. I'm rounding off. 858,000. The Director of Projects receive an emolument of 904,000 monthly total package. The Chief Executive Officer receives 1,035,000. Now that would be inclusive of allowance.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, would the Honorable Member be kind enough to say to this Committee of Supply for the 3 designated positions he provide information on what were the salaries pre-August 2nd, 2020?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, the Chief Executive Officer here would not have been in that position at August 2nd. The other 2 positions of Director of Operations, Director of Projects, I would not have that at us 3 years ago. I would not have that here.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm moving on. I'm not asking for a specific individual. I'm speaking directly to the position, not individual. So you should have that information. But I'm moving on. Mr. Chair, I think I've exhausted my questions on this particular program. So we can move on.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. We move on, and I now put a question that the sum stated for Program 452, Housing Development Current Expenditure, stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, I can turn your attention now, please, to pages 230 and 31. And I propose the question that the sum stated for program 453, water service expansion and management current expenditure, stand part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Ms. Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, to the Honorable Minister. Minister, could you tell us where this department is housed?
Mr. Chairman, first of all, we have to recognize the staff that you have here, and we do not have any staffing here. So it's under the ministry.
So it comes from the administration.
Correct.
Thank you, Minister. Mr. Chair, could the Minister kindly explain to the House why we have allocations for drugs and medical supplies at 6221?
Honorable.
There is no staff. The staff is under administration.
Honorable Minister, you double dipping?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we are the Ministry of Housing and Water. And so obviously the relevant activities is reflected. If you're doing water related matters, then it's reflected.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Chair, I can't decipher what the minister just said. Is the minister, I'm seeking clarification, Mr. Chair, is the minister saying that the staff who's employed on the administration that does work that deals with water service expansion and management, that when they fall ill, that they go to some cupboard that is marked water service expansion and management and get a Band-Aid or get a whiz or something? Is that what he's saying?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr.
Help me
Chairman.
to
Mr. Chairman, it's no different if you have a ministry. And therefore, there are different activities that takes place there. And so even for fuel and lubricant, sometimes you have a portion of where you divide that expense.
Mr. Chair,
Honorable,
the minister has not answered my
Honorable
question.
Member, Ms. Lawrence.
Field materials and supplies, 6222. Does the staff have a long boots that says administration and a long boots that says water service expansion and management? I can understand the fuel, and so I didn't ask about that. I'm asking specifically about these line items.
Honorable Minister.
It will be no different whether it's office materials, whether it's field materials, whether it's drugs and medical supply, whether it's print and non-print, or whether it's fuel. Well, fuel, we have the vehicle space.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Minister.
Mr. Chair, could the minister explain to the House 6243, this allocation for janitorial and cleaning supplies? Does this portion means that whichever staff assists with this particular aspect of work, that this cleaning supplies cleans their area in the administration building?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The ministry is a big ministry, and we have more than one department and relevant persons as part of the ministry. So obviously, we'll be referring to physical cleaning, building.
Honorable Member,
Thank you,
Ms.
Mr.
Lawrence.
Chair. Line item 6283. It's one building. The staff is under administration. There's an allocation here for cleaning and extermination services for the building for $4.5 million under policy and administration. And here where there is no staff, no building, we're asking for $350,000 to have cleaning and extermination services. Could the minister explain that?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, I just alluded to a building, so it can't be that we don't have a building. We exist somewhere. We work from somewhere.
You said in policy and administration.
So that's what the cleaning and extermination services refer to. It's right at the ministry main building.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Could the minister tell us what comprise 6284 others? $3.65 million.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Procurement notices, advertisement, television program.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you,
Honorable
Mr.
Member, Ms. Lawrence. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, line item 6321, subsidies to local organizations. I note, Mr. Minister, an increase of $80 million between the revised figure of last year and also what you're seeking for 2024. Can you explain to this committee of supply what would have occasioned this increase by $80 million and what this figure will take care of? I know it's money is going to GWI, but what will the sums be utilized for?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. May I remind the honorable member? So this is solely for the hinterland program. And this, while it's going to GWI, you recall that the hinterland water program, the overhead expenses, comes from the state because you don't, in the hinterland, you obviously don't have a recovery, right? As in terms of somebody paying for the water. So, honorable member, it goes towards payment for electricity charges, as well as for support for the staff in the various parts of the hinterland region.
Thank you, Minister.
So, and just a little more information. So for electricity, 705 million will go towards that, and for the hinterland operations, $775 million.
Honorable Member.
So the hinterland operation, Mr. Chairman, for GWI, all the staff are paid from here. And then as part of government contribution for the electricity charges to GWI, it also comes here. So that's the two categories of expenses.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Nima Flobes.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'm looking at the performance statement, the indicators from number 6 to 9. I would like to know how often these tests are carried out in terms of the water quality and stuff like that.
Honorable Minister.
Honorable number, what you're asking?
I'm looking at the indicators
Yes.
from number 6 to 9 that
Right.
talks about these different tests. I'm asking how often are they conducted?
Mr. Chairman, these tests are carried out frequently, minimum once a month in the various locations, because we have a requirement to maintain to WHO standard.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Bess.
Is this information, like after the tests are completed, available for the public so persons can know exactly what they're dealing with?
Honorable Minister.
Honorable member, one can inquire. It's not the case that we go publishing. We do publish a particular result on an investigation, etc. but there's none preventing a member of the public seeking clarity on the water that they're receiving. We do have cases, sometimes when we have complaints, we do an investigation, we go back to the community and report on the findings from that testing.
Thank you,
Where,
Minister.
where can an individual go to access
Yeah, I
that
know what
information?
one can gauge.
On
The
the
region, you have regional offices and you have the central location.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I think we've exhausted the questions for this particular head. And I now put a question that the sum stated for program 453, water service expansion and management current expenditure, stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. I'd like you to turn to page 513, honorable members. And I propose the question that the sum stated for program 451, policy development and administration, capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. The honorable member, I now put the question that the sum stated for program 451, policy development and administration, capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, we come to program 452, and I propose the question that the sum stated for this program, which is housing development, the capital expenditure, and I propose the question that this forms part of the estimates. Honorable member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, project code 1903100. Infrastructural development and buildings. I note the ministry is requesting some 69 billion plus. And the explanation given here, provision for highways, building, and infrastructural works in new and existing areas. Mr. Chair, when I turn my attention to the project code reference 198, they have a series of activities of which the 69 billion and change will take care of. One such activity is the provision of the building. Perhaps the honorable member can say to us from this 69 billion, what portion will go towards the building? The honorable member would recall in his explanation last year, he said from the 50 billion that was approved in the Committee of Supply last year. At activity 4, in the Hansard of dated Tuesday, 31st of January 2023, part 2, at page 8935. And this is what the honorable member had to say. There is a construction of our new office building, phase 1, budgeted this year is 465,500,000. Can the honorable member state for this Committee of Supply? 1, where is this building? What was the 467 plus utilized for last year? And from the 69 billion allocation, what portion will go to this new office and what that portion will represent?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the building is located at Houston, and when you're enjoying the 4-lane going home, on your left-hand side, you see the building is being constructed there. The sum that we're asking for now is for the continuation of the building, is 304 million.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I don't think the honorable member answered all of my questions. I asked, what was the 465 million utilized for last year? You've just informed the committee that from this 69 billion, you intend to utilize 304 million. Pardon?
This year.
Yeah, this year. So can you say what will the 304 million be utilized for? What was the 465 utilized for last year, and what this sum will be utilized for? Because I ain't seen no building.
I'll get a picture for you. But Mr. Chairman, you'll recognize a building of 5 stories will, first of all, require a lot of expense on terms of the foundation work and pile driving. So you have that is where the expenses went towards to commence that purchase of the piles, start the building. Mr. Chairman, in fact, right now the honorable member says she hasn't seen any building. Well, they're already on the 2nd floor. And the expense for this year will include to complete the building as well as for the air conditioning, etc., for the entire building. Mr. Chairman, if I may be allowed, this is the present status of the building.
You will lay it over for me to see properly.
Honorable member passes there every day. Let's both of us go and visit.
We're being invited to visit too many sites now. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I don't mind accompanying the honorable member to inspect this project because at the
Even
end of
at this hour.
Not this hour, sir. I have other things to do. But but what I do
Are
know,
you
sir,
imputing you don't feel safe with him at this hour?
so Mr. Chair, would the honorable member be kind enough, because you know the Houston is a big area.
Mhm.
So I really would like to know between where and where I can find this building.
Honorable Minister,
Whether it's on the western carriageway or on the eastern carriageway.
whether it's on the Mandela bypass or the public road.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. So let's start our journey from the roundabout of Mandela and Aubrey Barker, and we're going south on the 4-lane, and you'll happen upon some steel structure going up there, and then there's a sign there that says Sheriff. Immediately past that is the building that belongs to the Ministry of Housing and Water, and so therefore it's on your left-hand side.
Honorable,
And in that case, it will be on the eastern side.
Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson,
Thank you very much, Mr.
is this question going to be whether the eastern side is more developed than the western side?
No, Mr. Chair. No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I'm a frequent traveler on that stretch. And what I do know, you have the steel structure, which is Sheraton Hotel. And when you pass Sheraton Hotel, I noticed some big trucks marked Sheriff Construction Company. And I think beyond those trucks, I recognize there's a 2 two-story concrete building with T-shores still on them. So I don't know if it is that building the honorable member is talking about. But I will keep my eyes on this project, like the 12-story complex.
Honorable Minister, has the honorable member arrived at the right location?
It seems so, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Honorable member, you may ask your next question.
We'll go, Nadine.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Can I proceed?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, the other activity under this provision being sought, the 69 billion, provision for highways, that's Eccles to Diamond. Great Diamond, Marienzburg to Schoonard to Crane, Eccles Landfill Road, and Great Diamond Craig. Can the honorable member provide a disaggregation of the 69 billion for each activity under this project sum? Secondly, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, before I give the honorable member a chance to speak, is that I recognize the mobilization for the continuation of the we call it again, the landfill road heading west to the main East Bank corridor. So contractors are already mobilized. Now we're past it. Is there any provision in this budget for that particular project?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, may I be given 5 minutes to respond? The breakdown for the 69 billion expenditure includes, I'll give 5 categories and then we go into details. 51 million, I listen attentively, so time for you to listen. 551 million is what we considered rollover projects. So the rollover projects are the ministry main office that we just spoke about, the 4-lane highway, that is for the Eccles to Diamond, the retention has to be paid. Then we have the 4-lane highway to Great Diamond, the Heroes Highway, that the retention has to be paid. Then we have the 4-lane from Schoonard to Crane. We also have from when you cross over the bridge, so the Marienzburg to Schoonard, that portion, that's a 4-lane. I can give total, so it just depends how much time you give me. Then we also have the 4-lane highway for the Eccles Landfill Road, the one that you just inquired about. So yes, it's here. We also have the 4-lane highway for Great Diamond to continue Great Diamond to Craig. That's here. And the last set of expenses on the 51 billion rollover would be for roads, drains, bridges, water distribution, electrical networks, land preparation in housing areas.
Honorable members,
I wasn't finished, but
we have arrived at a point where we may regret, but the 1 hour is up. But I give my good friend, the honorable member, Ms. Ferguson, to ask her final question.
Final question. Mr. Chair, I have so much to say on this housing.
and I have so many to give.
Mr. Chair, I guess the honorable member would say to this house, the number of houses they intend to construct. But what is in the public's domain, Mr. Chair, is that persons have been complaining about the widespread rental of young professional homes, raises concerns about fairness in distribution process. Can the honorable member state for this house whether contractors who are constructing young professional homes are in the business of of doing real estate. That's one, sir. Secondly, sir, would portion from this 69 billion take care of the many defects that are existing on the young professional houses that are being constructed? Thirdly, sir, don't confuse my head. Thirdly, sir, is the honorable member aware, Mr. Chair, that contractors who are contracting, who are building these young professional houses are actually building houses for themselves in those areas? Fourthly, sir, can the honorable member state whether can the honorable member state, Mr. Chair, whether it is a policy of the Central Housing Planning Authority to have apartment buildings constructed in young professional schemes? Mr. Chair, since I don't have much time remaining, I would like to ask the honorable member a final question. Final question. The missing in action person from this honorable house went to Ling Avenue and promised 250 residents to have their houses improved. Just yesterday, the ministry, Monday, the ministry distributed in excess of $15 million to 60 families, giving them $250,000 voucher to purchase materials and also $100,000. My question to that honorable member is whether these vouchers are to be encashed at specific manufacturing companies or hardware stores. And can you say to this committee of supplies when the 190 remaining residents of Ling Avenue will receive their 250,000 grant and also their 100,000? And whether you feel that this sum is adequate to do what they have to do, since Men on Mission is building houses, Mr. Speaker, from 100,000 and $1 million. So that is my questions, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Honorable members, that was her final presentation for tonight. Honorable Minister, you have, I think, a 5-part question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, let me address the Lane Avenue and then I'll deal with houses, not just young professionals. So allow me to respond. The Lane Avenue program was a commitment being delivered on the announcement that was made by the Honorable Vice President, Dr. Barajak, the Honorable Member of this House. The Lane Avenue program was one whereby, first of all, a lot of work went into it because assessment had to be done for each one of those households. The first 60 vouchers that were handed over yesterday, and note I said, Mr. Chairman, for 60, that is because those are the persons who have completed their part of the arrangement, meaning that one, you have to show that you own that particular section or that you're living, that you're occupying, and secondly, your identification. So the first 60 is what they have completed their transaction. We have done 100% assessment of all. That is complete. The remainder is on the beneficiaries themselves. So as they complete their part, they will be issued the vouchers. $50 million has already been handed over or deposited to the Central Housing and Planning or transferred to the Central Housing and Planning Authority for this program. So it's continuous until we reach the finite number, but the next step is dependent on the beneficiary themselves. In terms of recouping the voucher for the materials, there are about 5 to 6 approved location or places, and these would have gone through a similar initiative like what we have with the steel and cement program. So you have a choice which one of those that you will uplift from. But we have arrangements with those suppliers for the consistency of the cost. So that is why that those have been approved. I mean, those were announced yesterday, so it's not secret. And I can provide the names of the where persons can redeem the vouchers, but that is the program, and it's moving smoothly, and we're proud of that initiative. In terms of the young professional houses, for the edification of the listeners, the houses that are constructed for the young professionals and the houses that are constructed for low income or for the moderate income, etc., they are done differently. So the young professional houses is done on a reimbursement stages with engagement with the bank, while in terms of the other type of houses, that is done through the Central Housing and Planning Authority, and then when the beneficiary has their approval from the bank pays CHPA back for those houses. So that's in terms of the houses that we build. So we don't just build young professional houses. The direct question that you asked about contractors, etc. Mr. Chairman, the contractors, we go for those buildings, we go out to what is called expression of interest. And that's when persons respond. Based on that, they're engaged and they have a particular cost. It's capped at which they have to construct those houses. And anyone knows that the houses, generally a beneficiary, if they're building the house themselves, cannot build it cheaper than what is being done through the Central Housing and Planning Authority. In terms of young professional areas and so forth usage, let's name them. We have the LBI area. So if you're going in, since we're using east and west, that's on your west. You have the Providence area. You have Diamond that is now being developed, and you have Prospect. Now, Mr. Chairman, the contractors, as I said, they have approval from Central Housing and Planning Authority, and that's how they are engaged. So the construction of the houses, the allocation of the houses is not done by the contractor, it's done solely by the Central Housing and Planning Authority. In fact, the allocation, may I make this point, Mr. Chairman, to end on this note? Allocations, a lot of things have been said, but allocations are not even done. Recommendations are made, but the physical allocations are not even done by any of the two ministers. Contrary to what even happened in the last government, when you go to the office and they have the plan in front of them and they're deciding on the lot that you get. This is not done by us. We recommend, we approve, but we don't involve ourselves in the physical process. So the beneficiaries for the houses, Mr. Chairman, are not done by the contractors. Now, let's speak frankly. Yes, we do have some challenges in dealing with some of the houses that are being built and dealing with some of the contractors. That is why we have one has been terminated, one is on a wanted list. And yes, those that we have, yes, well, I see the police is with that board. And yes, we are addressing it. So I wouldn't curry favor. We have had challenges with one or two contractors and their performance. Does
Thank
that
you
cover
very
your
much.
parts of the questions?
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I see you are giving your good friend the liberty of closing. Honorable members, we've actually exhausted and gone 10 minutes over the time allocated. In deference to the hard work of the Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson, I could not have not allowed her to complete. Honorable members, I now put the remaining programs, and those are 451, Policy Development and Administration Capital. Program 452, Housing Development Capital. Program 453, Water Service Expansion and Management Capital. And I now put a question that the sums stated for these three programs now stand part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable member, we will resume with the assembly. Honorable Prime Minister.
No, sir.
Sorry, thank you, Minister and the staff of the Ministry of Housing and Water, GWI, and the Central Housing and Planning Authority. Thank you very, very much.
Mr. Speaker, I'm kindly asking, there's a ripe
Wait,
matter.
just 1 second, Honorable. Are we back in assembly?
We are.
Go ahead, Honorable Minister.
On the issue of the outstanding provision of the names of teachers, or even one single teacher that graduated and is now teaching without having completed their courses at CPC. I await that list. It is becoming, if something is going to be said in this house.
Honorable
should
Minister,
be based on
I know
evidence.
you're patiently waiting, but we are also waiting on a few other promises of laying over. But I have reminded that honorable member today that we have gone way past the deadlines that I have established. So, be a
Because
bit
this is
more
being used outside of this house also to cause trouble. And so I want to be very, if we're going to say something in here, then give me the chance to act on it or withdraw it.
Thank you. Let's sleep on that when we ask for the apology, the withdrawal, if we don't get it. Honorable members, Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask that we adjourn and reassemble at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Honorable members, we adjourn until 10 a.m. when we take the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development. Thank you very much. Have a good night and safe travel back to your places of abode.
We love the open country of the Rupaluni and the Essequibo. Take time on night, though we may criticize it. This is our home, we love it, and we need to keep it. We have that right, so we ain't giving up no mountain. We ain't giving up no tree. We ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one courage, not a bit of grass. So we ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs.